Welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen here with Alex King on this Tuesday, December the 31st, 2019, the last day of 2019. It's 4 p.m. New York time, and wherever you are in the world, thanks for joining us for another episode of LOA Today, your daily dose of happy, and thanks for joining us for the last year, too, because we had a really good year in terms of subscriber growth, averaging close to 500 listeners per episode. At this point in time, this time last year, we're averaging around 250 to 260, something like that. So big improvement, really big improvement, and all thanks to all of you who are new listeners. And for the people who are just discovering us and haven't decided quite to subscribe yet, please do. We want you to be part of the team as well. And if you haven't figured out how to do it by now, most of you, when people find us, they usually find us in a way that makes it easy for them to subscribe right away. But just in case you don't know how to do it, just go to loatoday.net website and it will show you how to do it. And with that in mind, we're going to start off the year 2020. Now, 2020, Alex, is, in my view, I've been kind of pitching this for the last week or two. It's the year of clarity.
Oh, I hear that. I have a joke for that.
You have a joke for that? Okay.
I do.
Well, go ahead. Let's interrupt for the joke, and then we'll go on with it.
Okay, what are you doing tomorrow? Or what do you think I'm doing tomorrow?
Sleeping in with a hangover? I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't have 20/20 vision.
Okay.
Last dad joke of the year.
There's only one thing that I can say to that. It's the only thing that makes sense.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So, okay, well, we got our dad joke in. That's good. But, yeah, 2020, I really do believe is going to be a very, very clear year for a lot of people. A lot of people are going to have a lot of clarity brought into their lives. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are attracting it. Certainly those who are conscious creators and know something about law of attraction are attracting it. Mm-hmm. But I think also non-conscious creators, people who really don't know this stuff, they're going to be attracting it too, just because everything is expanding. Everything is, the vibration levels and so forth are all rising. You wouldn't know it sometimes by talking to some people, but overall I think it really is. So, I mean, maybe I'm just being an optimist. I think it's going to be a great year.
I think it's a great year to be an optimist.
Well, this is true. I mean, if it's 2020.
But it's always great to be an optimist.
That's also true. Yes, that's true. So, well, I guess also if we're going to talk about 2020, we should also have like a final thank you and goodbye to 2019.
Yeah,
right?
There's only a couple hours left, so
I know. And I think the one thing that I always like to say, because it seems to be more true every year, is, my God, where did it go?
Facts. It goes by faster and faster the older we get. It's crazy.
It's crazy. I know. I mean, it was yesterday.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it's a year that I personally feel very good about because I did a lot of work on myself this year. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And it's paying off.
Agreed.
And I'm liking that. Mm-hmm. I'm liking that a lot. So, to me, 2019 is kind of the springboard for 2020. Like, okay, I've set the new, the bar's at a new level, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So now I've got to see if I can clear this bar.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yep. So, but it's good. It's all good. I mean, when you look back on 2019, what comes to your mind?
Wow, a lot of things. It seemed, even though it went by really, really fast, it seemed like I did a lot of slow growth. Like a lot of things came to fruition this year, and it was a good year. It was a good year.
It was a good year. A lot of good things happened. What do you think is the best thing from an LOA perspective that happened for you this past year?
Just keeping in mind and realizing how powerful I actually am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like all these things for the past couple of years that I've been like putting on the back burner or just saying, oh, it'll happen. And then boom, 2019, everything happened.
Right. Exactly. I'm hearing, am I hearing us in the background?
Oh, yeah. Yep. They're watching me in the background.
They're watching. Well, hello everybody in the other room.
Yep. There's an echo.
I think, wait a minute, I just heard that line 10 seconds ago. I'm sure I did.
Like, what button did I press that's wrong?
Okay. I'm looking at my other laptop. No, I got the sound off there. What's going on? I don't get it.
Yeah. My super awesome mic picks up everything.
Yes, well, that's true. You have a great mic, very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say that a lot of great things happened in the year. I think, what the biggest thing happening is I can see a lot of things setting up.
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like there are certain things that I've been waiting to have happen, and it's all coming together.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Right.
There are so many things.
Because I'm like, what's coming next this year? What's
well,
gonna happen?
yeah, you're right. Some of it's a surprise, but some of it is stuff like, things I've been consciously trying to attract that are happening.
Right. Yeah.
And I commented about the fact that Louise and I are very likely going to get a new home for the first time as a couple. Next year, 2020.
Nice.
And that's something that a year ago, if somebody had asked me, so are you going to get a new home? I would have said, well, that's certainly what I'm trying to attract. But
right.
I would have given the politically correct answer because my deep down belief was absolutely not. I don't see how it could possibly happen.
See, that's where your problem was, the deep down belief.
Well, actually, that's one of the things I worked on. So
Yeah, exactly. Because it's contradicting your vignette. That's what's happening.
Well, I think also what happens is when you continue to just work on yourself, because I didn't, it's not like I spent a whole lot of time saying, geez, I really need to change my attitude about getting a new home.
Right?
It was more like, I'm just going to work on feeling better about myself and better about what's going on and so forth on a day-to-day basis. And that's what turned it around.
Yeah.
I hardly even noticed the change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't really notice it till I started, so we have our conversations and I start thinking about the whole year. And that's when it's all like, okay, all right, I see you 2019. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It takes time to get that perspective.
Yes. No pun intended, but your hindsight has to be 2020 in order for you to see what you've gone through and what you've grown from and where you are now.
It's absolutely true. And that's actually our best teacher.
Yep.
Because, we can try to imagine the future, and we do try to do that, and we try to make it the present in our imaginings, but our best source material is always the past.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what we know.
Yep.
That's what we know best. That's what we created previously. That's the biggest thing for me, trying to remember that, trying to keep that in mind. And I remind myself of it regularly, but that's a challenge.
It's easy to forget.
Well, yeah, because it's a concept. You can't, some people I know are well enough attuned that they can just kind of pick it up and remember it that way. For me, I have to consciously remember it.
Right.
I have to remind myself, oh, yeah, I created all this stuff.
Yes.
It's not like I'm getting feedback that I have learned how to interpret and say, wow, there's real proof that I created all this stuff.
Right.
I don't really do that too much. Probably will more.
Yes.
As time goes on.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, a lot of good stuff happened in 2019, no doubt about it.
So what would you say, I was going to ask you, what was your favorite phrase that you think that taught you the most in 2019?
My favorite phrase?
Yes.
Oh, heavens. Well, you're talking to a guy who does podcasts 5 days a week.
5 days a week,
for an hour every single day. You want me to remember a single phrase out of all that?
Well, just say, is there something that you kept repeating throughout the year that you realized kind of helped you throughout this year?
Not so much a phrase.
Mm-hmm.
There were lots of phrases.
Wouldn't it be wonderful?
Well, that was good. Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Isn't it wonderful? Something marvelous is happening for us now. I like that a whole lot.
Yeah.
We got that one from Neville Goddard. But even there, that's just one out of so many things. For me, it was more along the lines of not having a phrase, but being reminded and remembering to keep appreciating, to keep finding what's going right amidst things that didn't seem to be going right.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Today was a perfect example. End of the year, perfect example. I was telling you before the show, I was doing some more programming stuff and it felt like I was pounding my head against the wall. And then I reminded myself, I didn't really have to pound my head against that wall. And it feels so much better when I stop. And
yeah.
No, but seriously, it's a reminder that anytime that it's starting to get painful, I now am able to remember, well, I'm taking something too seriously here.
Mm-hmm.
I got to slow down and just back off and, see if an alternative appears instead of just going after this thing like this.
Yes. I was telling a friend of mine that earlier. Yep.
Yeah.
Just fall back.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to kind of take a step back. And when you do, that's usually when you relax enough to let something come in.
Yep. Exactly.
It's all good that way. I am looking forward to what's going to happen in 2020. I've been doing a lot of dreaming about that.
Nice.
Both
what are you dreaming about?
Conscious dreaming and sleep dreaming, both ways, which is a relatively new thing for me because I usually don't. My sleep dreams usually are way outside of my control. This year, I'm feeling more of an influence. I think because I'm being more deliberate.
Right, probably.
I'm maintaining my awareness more, and so it's carrying over into dream time during the sleep. But yeah, it's getting interesting to have dreams coming true.
Yes, I like that. Matter of fact,
hashtag dreams coming true. Yeah, it's cool.
Wait,
stuff.
Isn't that Disney's line? Hold on.
Well, that's all right. We'll co-opt it. It's no big deal.
No, it's where dreams come true. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
We're good.
So the Disney copyright has not been violated.
Exactly. Because Disney don't play, okay? They do not
that's
play.
True.
We will be fired.
Well, it's kind of hard to fire us when we weren't hired in the first place.
We will be canceled.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's hard to be canceled, too, when they don't own our program. But nevertheless.
They're Disney, though. They can do anything. They almost canceled Fox. Are you serious?
Well, there are probably some people who are happy about that, but that would be another conversation entirely.
Not in the Marvel world.
Not in the Marvel world,
We're not happy about that. No, not one bit. It all worked itself out, so it's fine.
It always does.
It always does.
Look for it.
Facts.
Yeah. So, well, all right. Well, yesterday we were talking, Astrid Kaufman and I were talking about the basics regarding vibration and energy. And the role that it plays. And we ended up having a conversation about how energy not just works for us as individuals, but we are also made up of billions, trillions of cells, each of which have their own little things that they do that involve energy, and they all kind of what they do all kind of merges together to create our bodies and create our lives and so forth. In the process of having that conversation, one thing that really stuck out for me, and I noted it to Astrid yesterday, is that we usually think about energy in terms of like two different states. Like one is energy in the physical world, and the other is energy in the non-physical. Okay,
right?
It's pretty black and white that way. But Astrid made a sort of a side comment that I picked up on. She said there are lots of different energy levels going on at the same time within us. You agree with that?
I definitely agree with that.
Why is that?
Well, just like you were saying, with all of our different molecules and electrons and all the neurons and everything going on in our bodies, like there's so much going on at the same time. It's like how you can sit in a conversation and be thinking in your head, but also be part of the conversation. You know what I mean? We're multitasking.
That's true. Yeah. And we were also marveling at the fact that all of these cells in our body, they're all doing what they need to do with some influence by our conscious creative abilities, but they're also doing it based on their own, because they're all energy, based on their own energetic signatures, so to speak.
Right.
And somehow it all works without us going crazy trying to micromanage all of it.
Well, that's if you're not concentrating on micromanaging, because some people do, and that's why they're crazy.
Well, I would recommend not doing that, yeah. But the astonishing thing is that it works even when you don't do the micromanaging.
Right.
In fact, it works better.
Yes, it does.
But to me, the amazing thing is that it works at all. Because we know what the role is of thought. We know that thought creates things. Thought combines with feelings and basically stimulates the energetic wave, so to speak, and stuff happens. So that means that everything happens based on thought. And yet, here we have all these things going on inside our bodies that we aren't paying a lot of conscious thought to, and they're doing all they need to, they're creating all that they need to create for us anyway, without us having to think about that. That's really, that's a cool thing.
That's the thing that amazes me about the human body. It's like, I'm digesting right now without even thinking about it.
It doesn't even take any work.
My heart is beating right now, and I'm not doing a damn thing. Well, I am, but I'm not.
Yes. But you're not thinking, okay, beat.
No, I'm not. Thank God, because if I was in charge of everything, something would get left behind.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah. It's like beat, blood surge, breathe, capillaries. Okay, everything. Get the director's wand out. Okay. Over here, the string section and then the brass section.
Oh, that brings me back to high school.
Did you play in band?
I was a band kid. I was a chorus kid. It was a theatrical high school, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had
What
a lot
did you
of
play in
jokes.
band?
Clarinet, bass clarinet, flute, sometimes the drums. Yeah, and then I was a soprano in chorus, yeah.
Wow.
Yes. Also classically trained on the violin.
Classically trained on the violin, she says. Ooh.
From the age of 5, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very nice. You're going to have to give us a recital sometime.
I haven't played since, but see what I can do. I got you. Mary Had a Little Lamb. It's on. It's on there.
Right. Okay.
It's gonna be cringy, but you asked for it, so.
Well, can you transpose to another key? If you could do that, then as far as I'm concerned, you pass.
Okay. All right. That'll work.
Oh my goodness. So, but I wanted to bring up the energy and vibration thing because I figured if you're going to finish the year on the last day with the last show with a bang, it's going to take some energy to do it.
Yes.
So you might as well be talking about the thing that it's going to take to make the thing happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, energetically speaking, where do you see 2020 going? Particularly for you, but also for everybody else. I mean, do you see it like universal for everybody? Everybody's going to have a much better year? Is it going to be just some people?
I feel like some people are going to stay stuck in their ways, but other people are just going to open up as far as energy goes, and it's nothing but good stuff from here.
Yeah. That's a nice thought.
Thanks.
It's also one I share.
I like it.
One of the things that I think we have to remind ourselves is that even when things are going well, we still go through stuff.
Yes, definitely.
The stuff we don't like still happens at times. Mm-hmm. And so as the new year comes on and we start stumbling around as we usually do, dealing with stuff.
Trying to remember to write 2020 instead of 2019 for the next 3 months.
Yeah, that's a good one, right.
That's the first mistake you'll make this year.
Actually, that's one that I don't make anymore. You know why?
Why?
I don't write checks anymore.
Facts.
That was the only time I ever wrote the date, was when I wrote the date on a check.
It's only when I'm signing something that I need that. So, because you have to sign it and date, so that's the only time.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, dang it.
Filling out an application, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
But I haven't had to apply for anything in so long that, I mean, even now you apply for something online and the computer applies the date, so you don't even have to do it then.
Exactly, so that's fixed in 2020.
I'll tell you, though, I have a renewed appreciation for computers.
Oh, yeah?
Because over the Christmas holiday, I did something I haven't done in a long time. I did Christmas cards for a small select number of people. Mm-hmm. By small select number, I mean under 5.
Christmas cards are coming back, definitely.
Well,
I got a bunch this year.
They came back in a very, very small way for me. And one of the reasons they came back in a very, very small way, I had actually ordered a larger pack with the intention of sending more out. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable. When you use a computer all the time, you're so used to typing stuff. When it comes to actually writing something with a pen...
My hand cramps up.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, am I not using this correctly? How do I hold a pen? What is happening?
I mean, what happened? I don't understand. I used to know how to do I was never really great at it. I didn't have good handwriting, but at least I could do it without my hand freezing up halfway through a sentence.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like it seizes
cow.
up, and then now I look like I'm writing like a kindergartner. It's crazy.
I know.
I should do this in crayon just to make it...
It took a long time to do those 4 cards that I did. A lot. I mean,
Wait,
each
I thought
one.
there were 5.
No, well, I said it was less than 5, and it was.
Okay.
There were 4 cards, and each card I had maybe 3 sentences, 4 sentences to say. Mm-hmm. And I swear, each card took 10 to 15 minutes as I very carefully tried to write something and then took a break because my hand was hurting and then wrote a couple words and then it was insane.
It is. It's like, thanks to computers, I now have carpal tunnel and arthritis at the age of 36. It's insane. just from trying to write. Even doing the hashtags, I have to put my pen down and take a break because I can't.
It's crazy, isn't it?
I gotta go like this. It's crazy.
I mean, it's almost like I remember taking handwriting class in elementary school, and the teacher basically stressing, hold on to the pens or the pencils so lightly that somebody could just grab it out of your hand.
Oh, I do remember that. Yep.
And so I tried doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't even make a mark on the paper.
Oh, what a sad day.
So I have a great appreciation for computer keyboards. I really do.
Yeah. I'll definitely be using Shutterfly next year for everybody. Shutterfly. For everybody's Christmas cards. Because I'm not handwriting anything anymore.
I hear you. I mean, it's you either have to practice it, which I really don't want to do, or you just appreciate keyboards. I mean,
I just had a genius idea.
What's that?
I don't know why I never use my laptop when I'm online with you, but that would save me time doing the hashtags if I just open up the email browser, put the hashtags in there, and then I could just send it to you when we're done.
Yeah.
No, I write them. Here's my long process. I physically write them down, then I speech to text them into my email browser, and then I send them to you. And I thought that was the quick way. Oh gosh, get it together, Alex. It's okay. This is the last lesson I learned this year.
On a subconscious level, you were just trying to practice your handwriting.
Sure. It has not improved. It has not improved.
It's gotten worse.
Still, maybe a first grader. I don't know about kindergartner, but definitely not going to make it to the second or third grade.
Well, can you read it?
Yeah.
Well, then at least second grade.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. My problem was I got to the point where I couldn't even read my handwriting.
Oh.
I mean, there were doctors who were begging me for lessons.
You know where you can get doctors' handwriting read properly? Go to the pharmacy. They can read everything.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Some of the nicest people in the world work in pharmacies.
Facts. I love my pharmacists.
I mean, really, really nice people. Now,
yeah.
Part of it is because they're in a very competitive marketplace, so they want to hang on to the customers. But boy, do they do a nice job of it. I mean, you get better customer service in a pharmacy than you get almost anywhere else.
Very true. Very true.
You know? It's an amazing thing. Once they've got you by the meds, they know.
Got you by the meds. Oh, man.
Oh, okay. So anyway, let's go back to looking forward to 2020. What are we trying to? What do we hope is going to happen? What's like? We can't really foresee everything. I certainly couldn't foresee where I would be now back at the beginning of 2019.
Well, if I could foresee everything in 2020, I'd probably be a lot richer due to lottery tickets winnings. But that's just me, and that's how I would use my powers. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I am excited about it.
Well, since we don't know what's going to happen, what we like to do as humans is we like to project. Well, here's what I would like to have happen. So you just did that. You projected you would like to be a lottery winner, which I think probably most people would agree with.
Agree with, yep.
Yeah, sure. You know, a few extra million coming in wouldn't hurt. But okay, so there's one. What else are we trying to? What are we reaching out for in 2020?
Definitely more listeners.
I like that one.
And more patrons for our Grass is Greener podcast.
That is true, and more listeners for it, too.
Yes, that too.
Of course, that also means we have to get the episodes out. But still, I mean, it's a good goal.
Tomorrow it is done. I gave myself a deadline of the 1st.
You did?
Yes.
Congratulations.
So tomorrow, it'll be in the Dropbox.
Well, then I'll have something.
I can't tell you what time. I don't know. But
hey, if it's there by 11:59 p.m., you did it.
That's all that matters.
Just don't count on me to be awake at that hour to read it. But other than that.
No. Just check the timestamp. That's all I'm saying.
I love that. I love the idea of having, I mean, how many more listeners do I want? I want us to be up in the thousands per episode. And we're halfway there. You know, so this is definitely within reach.
Agreed.
We doubled it in the last year. Why not double it again?
I'm here for it.
I mean, I remember back when I was getting, 10 listeners a month.
Yeah, that was pre-Alex.
Very pre-Alex. Yes. That was well pre-Alex.
Yeah.
Pre-Alex, it was pre-Joel. Well, almost pre-Joel, because Joel
Almost
has
pre-Joel.
been a few times, but it was pre-Cindy, pre-Louie, it was pre-everybody.
Pre-everybody that's on right now.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, that was a while ago. And I still remember what it was like to publish my first one and wonder when I was going to get a listener.
Oh, adorable.
Well, that's what you think about. I mean,
Yeah.
because at that time, it was so much harder to create a podcast. There was no easy way to do it.
Yeah, well, now it's so, the market is so convoluted. It's even, I don't know if it's harder now or if it's harder then.
Oh, no, it's definitely harder then. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, you can at least create one. You may not be able to get it out there real well. But creating one now is simple.
Oh, yeah, real simple.
But back then, I mean, there were no websites for creating podcasts. There were no
now they have
downloadable
apps.
softwares. Oh, yeah, there are apps all over the place.
Yeah, when I was doing my podcast, I used Anchor, and I just, one button.
Yeah.
All
so
done.
that's become so much simpler than it used to be. So, anyway, you go through all that effort back then, and you finally get your first episode done, and it sounds like crap, but at least you got it done. And then you put it on a website, and you say, so who's going to know to even listen to this thing?
Yeah, I know, right? That's when you start harassing your friends and family.
I didn't do that.
Oh, see, you should have. That's how you start. You harass your friends and family like a telemarketer after 5 p.m. during dinner. And then they start telling people, and they start telling people, they tell a friend of a friend, and here we are, 500 and something listeners.
Well, actually, I wanted to put the law of attraction to work. I wanted to just kind of put it out there and see if energetically it would happen.
And it did.
It took a while, but it did.
Well, nobody said the universe had a time limit.
That's true. And I certainly had plenty of doubt to resist it. I mean, up until, about 3 years ago, when we were averaging about 100 listeners a month, up until that point, I would have said, this part's a miracle. I mean, how did I get 100 listeners a month despite the fact that I had so much doubt that it was going to happen?
Right.
You know, now I'm getting 10,000 listeners a month. And at that point, 10,000 was so big a number that it seemed impossible. Now it's just like, yeah, so what?
It's like, yeah, and we do that in a weekend. Now what?
Although, actually, that's also a reminder. I really don't want to be like that about it. I do want to appreciate it, and I do appreciate it. I mean,
appreciation
I know you do.
and gratitude is the key.
We love all those listeners. It makes it so wonderful to keep doing these shows because we know people are tuning in and benefiting. I mean,
speaking of tuning in, what's going on your other side?
Not a whole lot, actually. We don't have we have a couple people who are tuned in, listening, but there's no chat going on.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
So,
That's cool.
end of the year, they don't have anything to say.
They said it all during the year.
Which is okay, you know.
Yeah, it's cool.
You distracted me where I was going. Where was I going with that? I know.
That you appreciate our listeners?
Oh, the appreciation, yeah. That was one of the things that was a big learning thing for me this year. Getting into the habit of appreciating listeners, among other things. Because we know how important it is to appreciate. That's getting into that right vibrational space, right?
Yes, exactly.
So you talk about increasing our listenership. For me, that starts with appreciating the fact that we have so many great listeners now. And I do appreciate them, and I know you do too. So thank you all for the listeners. So, okay, listenership increasing, and more listeners for The Grass is Greener. So what else are we going to try to aim for in 2020? What else would we like to have happen?
Wedding plans.
Ooh, wedding plans. That kind of came out of left field.
Is it though? I feel like I've been asking for this for years.
The ask has been there. The news hasn't quite been there. There's been, you met a couple guys, and the last one seems to be somebody who you're really connecting with, but this is the first time I've ever heard anything with the big M included in the conversation.
Very true.
Yeah.
I didn't want to, I'm not going to say jinx it because we're on a law of attraction podcast, but you know what I mean. But now I'm putting it out there and seeing what happens.
Okay. I won't even pursue that one. I just won't do it. Because every single line of inquiry I can think of leads to a place I don't want to be, so no, I'm not doing that.
Nope.
But that's great, though. I'm glad that, if nothing else, yours and Kenny's relationship is working out so well that you're even at the point where you want to talk about that. That's really fabulous.
Yep.
Well, that was also a nice milestone for me and Louise because we had our 20th this past year.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, the 7th anniversary doing the podcast. And, those are important things because they are things to also appreciate and to celebrate and feel good about. I'm looking forward to more of our listeners participating in our Facebook group, the Pivot Pals group, to share their vignettes, to share their things that they're trying to attract and get support for it. Because the number of people who are in there right now, I think it's 20 to 25, something like that. And that's great, but I'd like to see more people taking advantage of that. The people who have been doing it, I mean, I love the enthusiasm. There's like 3 or 4 who are really
steady people,
putting in the effort. Belinda's one, Anna's one, Jeffrey. I think there's another one I'm missing in there. But you got to do that. You got to do the everyday thing.
Yep.
Because that's how you change that vibration around.
Consistency.
Consistency is really, really big. So, yeah, I hope that continues to grow in 2020. You know what else I really hope for, and I think will happen in 2020? I think we're going to have, you know how, like, certain eras have comebacks, there's, like, retro-type stuff that happens?
Yeah.
I think we're going to have a return of greater levels of civility in 2020.
Elaborate.
There's just, for a lot of different reasons in a lot of different areas, there are a lot of people who have been expressing a lot of anger about a lot of things. And often doing it in a way that is less than respectful of others.
Facts.
And I think that's going to improve this year.
So we're going to go Canadian, is what's happening, is you're saying.
Okay. I hadn't thought about expressing it that way, but I'm sure our friends north of the border would say, well, sure, yeah.
Yeah, Canadians are very, very polite.
They are. That's true. They're very nice people. Both those who visit here in the U.S. and those whom I've met on those occasions when I've been across the border and talking to people there. Really, really very, very pleasant people.
Yeah, I agree.
In fact, some of the more famous people here in the U.S. are Canadians.
True.
In fact, I'm going to give a shout-out to one of them, Alex Trebek, who runs the Jeopardy show, who's been the host of Jeopardy for like the last 40 years, is Canadian, and one of the most beloved personalities on television here in the U.S.
I'm also going to give a shout-out to Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool star, and amongst other movies and TV shows. Yes, he's very polite and hilarious at that.
That's even better. Yeah. Yeah, so I think we're going to see more of that this year, and I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I've had enough of the other, to be perfectly honest.
Agreed. Agreed.
Just enough of that. So, okay. Anything else that we're hoping for in 2020?
Let me see. I don't know.
Well, it doesn't have to be anything on a major scale. It can be small stuff happening just in your life or in the lives of people you know.
I'd say general blessings for everyone.
Yeah, that covers a lot.
Sure does.
In fact, it's a reminder that a blessing is really nothing more than getting more of what you like and prefer.
Exactly.
Which I think we're going to have more people becoming aware of in 2020, and I think that the more people focus with that level of consciousness, the better things are going to be for everybody.
Yep.
You know, it takes a lot of the guilt out of it.
True.
You know, because guilt is all about you having to satisfy me for some reason. But if it's just a focus on what do I like and what do I prefer, it doesn't matter what somebody else is doing. I just like or prefer it because I like or prefer it. So much easier. So much less work than trying to get somebody else to behave in the way I want them to behave.
Yes. Ooh, I know what I want for 2020. I'm sorry. See, I did that already. A lot less of how do I get my ex back on Facebook. Although that is like half our episode, so maybe I don't want it to mess us up. Just want people to come to the realization that, like, they're your ex for a reason.
I think I would just remind you that if you spend time focusing on it, you're going to see a lot more of it. If you don't spend time focusing on it, you're going to see a lot less of it, regardless of whether others are engaging. There's a lot of things that people focus their attention on that I really couldn't give two you-know-whats about. But sometimes I focus on them anyway, and I get repaid with more stuff about two you-know-whats.
Yep. Yeah.
You know what's happened.
True. Very true.
And all because I'm focusing on them. So I'm just going to take attention away. I'm looking forward to practicing more what you talked about last time that we did a show together.
Which was what? What was I talking about? I talk about a lot of things.
Building brick walls.
Oh, rolling up the windows.
Rolling up the windows. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. It's a really great demonstration you gave us about how to deal with difficult people in your life. People who you can't easily get away from.
Yes.
People who just seem to be always there giving you a hard time or doing whatever it is they do that you don't like. So you just demonstrated a really nice, almost graphical way of just shutting them out and letting them know that you're shutting them out.
Yeah.
It's kind of finite, It's like, that's it. We're done.
Yeah. Like, it's a brick wall. It's going to be up for a while.
Mm-hmm. That's true. You can always take it down, can't you?
You can take it down, but it's got to happen brick by brick, though.
Mm-hmm. So, in other words, you're looking for appropriate, from your perspective, appropriate behavior.
Appropriate consistency is what I'm looking for.
Consistency. Okay. Yeah.
Because people can say anything in the moment. You're like, oh, okay, we're cool again. And then it's like, oh, but you're still you. So why did I take down the wall?
Well, yeah, but here's a little quiz for you. Not quiz, but a little challenge. Because we were just talking about how we really don't want to depend on somebody else's behavior for our own happiness. Isn't this, to some extent, building a wall and saying, well, I'm not going to take the wall down until you change your behavior? Isn't that, in a way, saying your behavior is what my happiness is dependent upon?
No. You're saying you're content with yourself. So you don't need, you put the wall up because you don't need this other person. If they want to be in your life, then they can do what they need to do to take the wall down, but you're not dependent on them at all.
So the wall is basically a metaphor that says, I really don't care.
Exactly. That was my favorite phrase of this year. Not my problem.
Not my problem. That's it. That's good. That was really the lesson of the wall. I mean, that's kind of why I brought that up.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's all about, here's how you don't care anymore. Here's how you stop paying attention to it.
Exactly.
You just metaphorically roll up that window or...
build a wall.
Or if you want to sit in the car with electric windows, you just push the button. I mean, any way you want to do it.
I do it in all the ways, any type of window. Even the ones that you roll like this and they roll out this way. I just close that bitch right up.
Wow. Well, that's a throwback. I haven't seen one of those in a while.
Yep.
And it's true, though, that the more that we learn to do that, the more... what we're really doing is we're spending more time focused on what we like and spending a lot less time focused on what somebody else doesn't like or likes or whatever. Which means we're not tying our, not just our happiness, but our life to what somebody else decides.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's huge. Letting go of that is really, really huge. And then replacing it with joy, with choices, with options. That's another lesson that I think has become really apparent to me. Over the last year, I've really, really noticed that the more that I stop paying attention to that stuff I don't like, roll up those windows, build those brick walls on the things I really don't want to pay any attention to at all, and replace that attention with stuff that I do like.
Yep.
That's when I start seeing more opportunities.
Yep. That's when you start attracting the things and people in your life that are supposed to be there, that are uplifting you, that are making you feel better.
And the amazing part is I wasn't seeing them before.
Right.
But I'm seeing them now. How interesting.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
They were there all along. I just didn't see them.
Well, you had a dark shadow blocking your view.
Which I had apparently put in place. Yeah. But as soon as I put the wall up, the dark shadow couldn't get in, and now all of a sudden I wasn't paying any attention to the dark shadow anymore.
Yeah, the sun's got to come in at a different angle. That's what it is.
That's it. Yeah. So, well, the energy gets in any way it can get in. You open up a crack, it finds its way in.
Sure does.
It's a good thing. Yeah, I also wanted to tell you, and I'll share this with Cindy Chavez next time I have a show with her, which will be a week from tomorrow. By the way, no show on New Year's Day, but we will pick up again on Thursday the 2nd. I'm sorry, not with Cindy, with Linda Armstrong, who I do the show with on Friday. Linda, I asked Linda for recommendations about what I might generically call angel cards. She has like lots of different card decks that are inspirational in nature. And I wanted to get one for Louise, and so she recommended one of her favorites. I ended up getting that deck for her. And Louise liked it, and we've actually played with it a few times. But the reason I want to mention it is it's really an interesting way to learn about different human perspectives to play that kind of little game with these card decks. And the reason I say that is when Linda and I use them on the show, she has all these decks, and she'll bring 3 or 4 of them onto the show and pick a card or 2 from each deck, and we'll use that as part of our conversation. And invariably, it just fits in with what we're talking about, so it's like the cards work perfectly. Well, I was expecting the same kind of thing to happen with Louise, but it didn't happen that way. What happened was Louise had her own idea about how to use the cards, which didn't really match the way we do it on the show that Linda and I do it.
Right.
And so I found myself having to
pivot,
and pivot is the word. Pivot my attention away from, well, that's not the way it's supposed to work.
That's not how I play with Linda.
That's not how I play, yeah. So I had to adapt to a new way of experiencing the cards, which was fine. I mean, it's working out very nicely.
Yeah.
But
that's the thing with cards. It's all about perspective.
Well, that's the whole thing. It was giving me a completely new perspective.
Yep.
And it also, when you play with these cards with somebody else, it gives you a lot of perspective about your relationship with that person.
Facts.
There were, for instance, a few cards that we drew that I thought applied more to her than to me, and she thought applied more to me than to her.
Of course. Tale as old as time.
Yes. So, yeah, it was, it's a way of learning about yourself and about your relationship. I can also see why people might get in trouble if they're playing with card decks that can have negative themes in them. Which a lot of people do. And I won't even go into more details about that, but just pointing out, you really want to go with a card deck of that kind that is positive, that has really helpful messages in it, messages that are designed to get you into a higher vibrational state.
Right.
And to not tear you down and so forth. It's really important to have the right kind of deck. So thank you, Linda Armstrong. The deck she recommended was by Sonia Choquette, and it's a really, really good one with some beautiful illustrations on it, I have to say.
Oh, that's my favorite part about the cards is illustrations.
These are really gorgeous.
That's why they're so hard to choose between. I'm like, but I like this one, but I like this one too.
Linda doesn't choose. She just buys them all.
Get them all!
But it's good stuff. Oh, by the way, Linda had announced last week on Friday that we were going to have a guest this Friday. That has actually been postponed by a week, so it'll be on the 10th. And Alex, I'll be sending you the details so you can let everybody know on social media.
Cool.
But there's a friend of hers who is a former, I think it's Army chief, who has had a remarkable life and is going to share elements of his life story coming onto the show. In essence, I don't want to give too much of it away, but...
Yeah, no spoilers.
Yeah, I won't spoil it, but let's just say the guy almost died. And
that tends to happen in the military, yeah.
It does happen, yeah. But I don't even know if this was actually a military situation. We'll find out.
Oh, okay. So is it like a near-death experience type of thing?
Well, they're not labeling it that way, so I won't call it that.
Okay.
What they're saying, what Linda's saying is coming out of that experience, he experienced a huge surge of powerful, positive personal energy.
Okay.
And he's been riding to this day. So it's going to be interesting to hear the story about how all that happened and what manifested out of it. But, yeah, it should be good coming out of a military guy. I mean, that should be fun. Yeah.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. So check that out. January the 10th, I believe it is.
Okay.
We haven't even started the year and I've already skipped the first month.
It's a good thing you're not writing the dates.
Oh, jeez. Well, if I did, my hand would be cramping up anyway. So let's see. What else are we looking forward to for 2020? I'll tell you something else. Mm-hmm. Just the year, the number 2020 usually, is associated with vision. Mm-hmm. Louis D'Souza, who does the Monday show with me, tells me that in the last, I don't know how many years, 5 years, 10 years, something like that, he has managed to improve his vision from the point where he used to have what he called Coke bottle glasses down to what he has now, which are very, very thin lenses. And he's hoping to be able to get rid of glasses entirely.
Well, I need to talk to him because in the last 2 weeks, my vision has gone terribly.
Well, he'll tell you it's all about maintaining that high vibrational level. And
yeah, that's true.
All that's involved with that. So
I just keep telling myself I don't need my glasses.
Well, it's true.
Yeah.
But you might also flip it around to your eyesight is 20/20.
Well, that's what I meant, but I don't need my glasses.
But one focuses on the glasses, the other one focuses on the pure eyesight.
You got me there. Okay.
Yeah, so
all right.
That's the advantage to doing that. But that's actually one of my goals, too. And I actually achieved it a little bit this year. I didn't have the success he's had over the last 5-10 years. But yeah, I actually had an improved prescription, a weaker prescription, if you will.
Yeah,
which surprised me. I didn't expect that. I expected it to be a little bit worse, and it was a little bit better. I thought, well, dang.
Look at that. See, another thing you weren't even focused on that just happened. That your brain was working on.
No, I was focused on getting better eyesight.
You were focused on getting focus?
I was definitely focused on getting focus. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and it worked. It worked in a way that I didn't really expect. I mean, I think a lot of the time, whenever I try these things, I try them abstractly, hypothetically. Don't really dare to actually believe that they're going to come true, so I kind of dabble in it a little bit, and that was one of the things I kind of dabbled in. So when I got a positive result, I was really pretty pleased.
Nice.
Considering I hadn't really put it out in a big, big way. I wasn't really consistent about it.
Right.
But it's encouraged me to become more consistent. So
nice.
I'm not going to set a particular goal. I'm just going to say I hope I have a large improvement in my eyesight for 2020.
All right, I'm with you. I'm riding with you on that one.
Because that's the year, right? I mean, if you're going to have better eyesight, it's going to be in 2020.
Why not 2020? 2020 right? And 2020.
Exactly. Sounds like a bumper sticker to me.
Definitely. Or a T-shirt. So, yeah. I need T-shirts.
And I'm also I'm working big time on improving my health for the year. Not that my health is bad. It's not bad. It's good.
Yeah.
But I think I am... I'm a little sensitive to how many years old I am.
As people your age are.
Not just my age.
Facts. I'm a little sensitive about my age. I was like, my mid-30s, they hurt.
I mean, I started celebrating anniversaries for my 29th birthday. So, I had like the second anniversary, the third anniversary, the fourth anniversary, and so forth.
Me and all my friends are doing that. We're celebrating our anniversary of our 21st birthday.
21st, yeah. Well, when I got to the 29th anniversary of my 29th birthday, I figured that had gone a little bit too far.
Yeah, it's time to upgrade.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So now I'm just going for the gusto. I'm just going for feeling 20, period.
Hey.
No more anniversaries or anything. Just feeling good.
Nice.
Feeling as I felt when I was a 20-year-old, minus all the angst that I had. I really don't. I'm leaving that part out of the equation. I just want to have the body of the 20-year-old, the energy of the 20-year-old. Right?
Yes.
So
I mean, I feel 20, but my bones don't. Let me tell you, especially not in the winter.
Well, but that's just it. I need to feel that my bones, as you've so aptly put it, are great.
Yes, I agree.
And
I said that to Kenny the other day. I was like, we got out of bed and we both made the same moan getting out of bed. I was like, we're like, I was like, we're only 36 and 37. This is insane. But we look 20, so that's halfway there.
Louise pointed something out very early in our relationship that we would do very much the same kind of thing. And she said at one point, I think on a subconscious level we do that just to make sure the other person knows how much we're hurting.
Low-key pettiness. Awesome.
That's right. I think she was right. I think it's true.
Like, my knees hurt more. No, my knees hurt more.
And it becomes a competition.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Me and Kenny have back fights all the time.
Back fights, okay.
Back fights. It's like, my back hurts. I need a massage. No. My back. I've been standing up all day at work. Well, I've been sitting down, and that hurts equally.
Just talking about that, my knee is starting to hurt right now. I mean,
Must be raining tomorrow.
No, it's that I'm focusing on stuff that I don't like.
Yeah.
So, but this points to what I've been focusing my attention on as much as I can remember to do it. I've been practicing. One of my favorite ways of feeling good, bodily speaking, is to find one part of my body that feels really, really good, and then take advantage of body symmetry and tell myself that the other part feels exactly the same way, feels that good, and practicing that kind of a transference or projection, if you will.
So you're basically telling your body parts, why can't you be more like your sister?
Not why can't you be, but you are.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, putting it into the current now, saying you're already feeling that way, and not just trying to talk myself into it, but actually trying to feel it. So, like I mentioned, my knee. I re-injured my knee 3 or 4 days ago, and by the way, the mental work has worked. The pain is almost gone. So,
okay.
I mean, it's definitely paying off. But that's given me a lot of opportunity. I think I kind of injured it on purpose as a way to remind myself, get back on track. Yeah. Well, not so much to test, but to remind myself, make this a regular thing. Focus on improving all of your body parts. Getting everything healthier. So I've been doing it with the knee and with virtually everything else too. And there've been times where, especially right after I re-injured it, which I think was Friday, where it was really quite painful. I mean, just chronic feeling of pain, which is the hardest time to do it. But I figured, okay, well, I know I've done this before, so I'm going to do it again.
Right.
And I just focused on that right knee because the right knee felt great. And saying, this is the way my left knee feels. My left knee would just, keep coming through with, no, I really, really hurt right now. But I would be persistent, saying, I'm going to feel that left knee feeling just like the right knee, and I would be able to do it. I mean, the first time I tried that a year and a half ago, it was almost incredibly impossible to do. Now I can actually do it within a few minutes, which is good.
Nice.
Yeah. But it still takes work. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
It still takes some effort to do it, but I can do it now, and I'm taking advantage to practice that because that's exercising the muscle in the gym.
Yeah.
That's building it up, and I think that it really pays off because the more that we can do that, the more we can kind of do it on our own demand, so to speak.
Right.
The better we're going to be at creating these healthy bodies we want.
Very true.
Because now we've got the skill. Now we know how to do it.
Hey.
Yeah. When you can combine how you feel with that intention you're putting out there, you just multiplied everything. Everything just got a whole lot more powerful.
Facts.
So, yeah, that's another goal for the year. I mean, it was a goal for this past year, and I've progressed quite a bit. But next year, I'm going to be even better at it. Next year, I don't know. I don't even know how to quantify it, and I'm not sure I really want to. What do I?
No, don't put a limit on it. Yeah.
But, I want to be able to do it like that.
There you go.
That's it. That's the goal I'm trying. I want to be able to, at any moment in time, imagine and feel that body part X feels great on a dime, just like that. That's the goal for the year. That's a good goal. So what else we got like 6 minutes left. We also have to get our last minute promos in, but
yep, definitely.
What else for 2020? What's another goal for 2020?
Another goal for 2020. Well, we got the eyesight, we got the listener goals, we got the maybe a new car.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking, new car.
Well, I mean, first of all, the fact that you want to get out and drive a car is a good thing. I really like that.
Whoa, baby steps. I did not say I wanted to get out and drive the car. I just said, in general, in the household, new car.
Okay,
you just jumped like 10 steps.
So how do you imagine this?
Well, Mom's probably going to get a new car.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mom's going to get a new car.
Or Kenny will get a new car. One or the other.
Kenny. Okay. And is this too many baby steps ahead? Are you planning to ride in that car?
Well, I got to get to the doctor's somehow, so yeah.
Are you planning to ride in the car beyond the doctor's office?
Plan or hope?
What are you aiming for?
Being able to hang out at the beach more.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I try to avoid it during on season because, interlopers.
Understandable.
Yeah.
When you live on Cape Cod, that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, after Labor Day is a good time to, after Labor Day, but before, during my birthday is a good time to go to the beach. Nobody's there. It's still private. All the Airbnbs are closed. It's a great time. So Indian summer works for me.
Which is good. All right. Mm-hmm. The way that you kind of did that mental thing in front of us is a great reminder of how when we're asked, what do we like, we struggle.
Yeah, definitely.
We're trying to frame it. We're trying to decide how far am I willing to go and where are the limits I'm going to put in place and so forth. We don't have that problem when it comes to something we don't like.
Facts. Shout it out just like that.
It just comes blurting out. I mean, we don't have to even think about it hardly. But the stuff that we like, we have to think about that. Isn't that interesting?
True.
Well, there's a goal for the year. I want that stuff to come out more easily.
Okay.
Yeah, I want it to be almost instantaneous. Somebody asks me, what do you want? I can just tell them. Yeah? Mm-hmm. It just comes. It just comes right out. Makes it really easy.
I like it.
Okay, so we have a few minutes left, and this is the last few minutes of the year, so we have to do our last promos of the year. First
so
of all,
sad, but happy.
Well, yeah, it's both a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, bittersweet.
Let's reverse the order because we live stream to YouTube, so tell people how they can check us out on YouTube.
This is my favorite part of the day. Okay, so what you want to do is
you need to work on that, girl.
So what you want to do is go to YouTube and search LOA Today podcast videos. And once you see our smiling faces, you will click down below. There is a red subscribe button. And next to the red subscribe button, there is a silver bell. Make sure you click all so you will always be notified when we are live. That's
as simple as you can make it. And, of course, become a subscriber if you're not yet a subscriber to the podcast. Very simple. Go to loatoday.net. All the instructions are right at the top. Most people it's one click. Some people it's 2 or 3 clicks, but it's pretty quick. It doesn't take long. And then you get all of our shows streaming live to your device as we publish them. And we do a lot of them. We're doing over 200 episodes a year.
Yep.
Close to 250. I didn't take an exact count, but yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Let's put it this way. We used to do twice as many, and people couldn't even keep up with that.
That's true. Oh, man. Those are the days.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Well, I'm kind of glad that we left that behind. But, yeah, averaging close to 5 shows a week is still pretty huge. And,
it is still a lot, yeah.
And we appreciate all
Speaking
the
of which, I want to show out my appreciation for all of the co-hosts that came and went this year.
Yeah. I mean, it's an amazing thing how many good people we've gotten here on the show. People who they know their stuff, they know law of attraction, different perspectives, different ways of understanding it. Some have come on as guests, some have stayed, like Dan Mangina, who couldn't be here today. He'll be back in 3 weeks? He's off to
he's in Dubai.
He's in Dubai. Oh,
hanging out with all the pool people where we're not because we can't afford it. But it's next year. Next year we'll all be in Dubai. It'll be fun.
So Dan, we're looking forward to getting you back in January. Yeah, we've gotten some really good people to do the show, and we're expecting to get a whole lot more. Plus the regulars who've been with me for quite some time now. The person who has the longest continuous track record right now is Cindy Chavez. She's been doing it with me for a couple of years now, and we're looking forward to doing more Neville Goddard on Wednesdays, so that'll be good. Linda Armstrong's now been doing it for a year and a half with me. She's doing the Friday show. You and I have been doing it for a little over a year now.
Yeah.
You're doing Tuesday and Thursday with me. Dan's joining us on Tuesday. Louis D'Souza's been doing it with me for about a year and a quarter now. His sister-in-law, Astrid, also doing the show.
That's his sister-in-law. Okay.
That's his sister-in-law, yeah.
I did not know that.
She's a sister-in-law, and she's a Jiu-Jitsu expert, so she's a little bit of both.
Nice.
Yeah.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just a quarter sister-in-law,
But, and there's been all these really great people. I still am hoping we're going to get Joel Elston back at some point. I don't know when that'll happen. Yeah. Joel is very close to my heart. I mean, because I've done so many shows with him, and he's such a great guy, so.
He is.
What will happen is a day will come where I will feel inspired, and I'll know that because I'm feeling inspired, it means that he's very receptive at that point, and I'll put it out there, and he'll find some way to make it happen.
That's all it is.
That's what it's going to be. So.
Okay.
There's another goal for 2020.
All right, get Joel back. Got it.
All right. Okay, well then, I think we've covered it all. Thank you very much, Alex, for all your contributions throughout the year. We really appreciate that.
No problem. I love being here.
You are definitely part of the heart and soul of the show because, well, first of all, you do so many of the shows with me. And second of all, you're there whenever I need to fill in. So, I mean, it's
Facts.
So, thank you very much. Thank you, live streamers. Thank you, podcast listeners, as well. We'll see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.